The location you choose can make or break your story. A proper location can make your film feel bigger, lived in, and believable. But with that comes higher budgets and logistical issues that we don't always have the means to navigate. Because money.
And I don't have it.
Especially when you're looking to shoot in something as difficult as a hospital. But filmmaking is all about creating illusions to tell your story, using sleight of hand to make the viewers see something that they actually aren't. So today, we're gonna turn a room in our office into a hospital, and we're gonna do it as cheaply as possible. So hold on to your booty cheeks, because we're gonna do the thing I just said we're gonna do. So.
Did you just become drunk while speaking?
No, I am drunk before I started speaking.
Hold on to your butts.
Right off the bat, I know what comments we're gonna get. No, we are not counting the gear we have in the budget to pull this off, because whatever you have will work just fine. What's making this work is how we're designing out the spaces, not the gear we're capturing it with. So calm your boobies. Okay, Gary?
Perverted.
But I knew going in, building a hospital room was gonna be hard. There's a ton of equipment, a huge bed, usually a big old window, curtains, tubing, monitors, plus hospital rooms usually have white or bright walls, and our walls are black and gray. But after gathering some references, I was shocked at how many big films used really simple setups. So that was our target. We could give the essence of a hospital room instead of actually showing everything. Which our first attempt at this failed. It wasn't bad, I guess, but it felt like stock footage to me in a bad way. So we tried again and ended up with something that I think was much better. But to get it started, I went right to Amazon. We bought an IV stand and IV bags, which are actually made for watering plants in case you have a plant in the ICU. Then some tubing, bandages, a curtain, a hospital blanket, scrubs for the nurse, and an ID badge holder for the fake nurse ID. But we'll get to that in a minute. Once all that came in, we started building it out, which our first issue was the color of our walls. We didn't want to build walls or paint, so instead, we grabbed this rug from my office, we flipped it around to this off-white texture on the bottom, threw it up on some stands, and to our disbelief, we had a white wall.
How stupid this looks makes me happy. Because if it actually works and it looks as stupid.
Next, we threw up our curtain on a C-stand, which will help fill out the frame. Then we didn't have a bed or a table stable enough to act as one, so we're cheating here a bit too. We grabbed a futon from my office, which was too low for our frame, so we put that up on some Apple boxes. Then we threw some sheets on it, placed the pillow in, which were actually 2 throw pillows stuffed into a pillowcase because we forgot the pillows. Because professionalism. After that, we brought in our actor, had him put on the patient gown, and then propped his feet up on a chair so it looked like he was laying in a full bed. So real quick, just to recap, the bed is a futon with his feet dangling off, and the wall in the back is a f***ing rug. And if that doesn't get your chips pringled, I don't know what will. But now with our actor in, we got our shot framed up so we could build out the set very intentionally. So we worked in the IV stand, tubing on the actor, and placed the heart monitor in the background, which was actually our small HD monitor, but any small TV or monitor would work here as well. And to get the graphic on screen, we plugged the small HD monitor into my computer and used this stock graphic we found on Envato Elements. For our first version, that I did not like, I did wrap his head in a bandage and added some blood, but it just felt cheap to me, so we went without in the second attempt. I also wanted to fill out the background a little more than we did in the first attempt. The first one felt a little too empty, which is part of the reason I think we were getting that stock footage feel. So for this version, we placed a little table next to the bed and put some medicine bottles and other random things on there to fill it out. We also added a little more technical feeling paraphernalia in the background, like hanging these headphones and walkie-talkie piece we found in our prop room, all of which became little touches that made the set feel more alive. We also left this C-stand that was flagging off a light visible in the shot since we felt it played on camera. And with that, our set is built for this angle. As for the lighting, we only use these 2 4-foot tube lights here, both of which are the Aputure InfiniBar PB12s. Aputure is our partner for this episode, but as is with all of their gear, these rule so hard. We'll dive into those a little bit more in a second, but we put the first one up on a C-stand hitting both our background and our subject with a flag to pull some of that spill off the background. Then we had the second one off to the right hitting a bounce to bring up some of the levels on our actor, and let it spill onto the curtain to bring up some of the shadows there as well. And both lights were set to 3000 Kelvin with a +1 green to give it a grungier, greenish yellow look. Then we tossed a black sheet up to his left for some negative fill, and we were set. The final thing here was to get our nurse in, so our actress put on the actual scrubs, and for the ID badge, I found a template, photoshopped a picture of Emily on it, printed that out, cut it to size, and placed it in the badge holder. Then we tossed a cheap stethoscope around her neck, and we were ready to get our shots.
Am I pregnant?
Yes.
I knew it.
The only thing here that is both funny and slightly ruins the illusion for me is how massive the gloves are on her hands. But, you know, it was the only gloves we had. And she has small hands. get off my back, and your attitude is not productive. But then we got all the angles that we wanted, being careful to lean into the strengths of the set to sell it the best we could, and then it was time to flip around and get the reverse on Justin. But before we get into that, let's talk about these lights. Aputure makes some of the best lights out there, full stop. Their builds are strong and functional, the light quality is excellent, and they are really bright, and all of that applies to the InfiniBar. And I genuinely love these things. They come in a 1 foot, 2 foot, and 4 foot, which you can connect together in a straight line, stack for a single flat light source, build out shapes like a square or whatever else you want to put inside your frame, and design out your shot. But the coolest aspect of that is their infinite design, which makes their connection seamless. And when they're together like this, you can charge multiple lights without individual barrel extensions. And like we'll show in a second, along with their quarter 20 and baby pin mounting options, you also have these very strong built-in magnets, so you can place these things almost anywhere. Then you have this flat-faced linear light source design here and a 45-degree control grid included in the kit, which is a massive help for controlling light spill and shaping the light how you want. Unlike the semi-unmanageable spill that inevitably comes with the round-face tube lighting. They're also RGB WW full-color LED lights, so we can get these in any possible color we want, plus a whole host of different effects that can be tied together with multiple other lights. And of course, the excellent Situs app to control all of it from one place. So if you're looking for something like this, order now on Aputure's website or from a local vendor. We also have the link in the description for you as well. You see how serious I was for so long? Are you proud of me?
No.
I just hiccuped.
Oh.
What was your answer? So for this shot, we knew we wanted to use the door in the back for depth and to push that hospital room feel. Of course, everything around the door doesn't play in the shot, so we needed to cover that up. We didn't feel like buying more curtains because money. So we stole some more from around the office, then threw those up on some more stands and placed them strategically to block off everything we didn't want framed. Of course, we're gonna go very dimly lit here, which is also doing a lot to help us sell this set as well. For the patient in this shot, since we're only seeing a small bit of them, we sent our actor home and we grabbed a mannequin to place there instead. We laid the mannequin on top of some apple boxes and placed the hospital gown on top of that. And like the last setup, the lighting here was done entirely with the Aputure InfiniBars, but you can accomplish a similar look with whatever you have as well. So we kept the overhead lighting pretty much the same, then tossed one over here to bring up some of that ambient light for the background. Then set one more in the hallway to replace the overhead lights out there. So often, just replacing a practical light with a controlled film light will go miles in boosting the overall look and feel of your shot. For this one here, we just spun those fluorescent bulbs in the fixture to turn them off, then slapped the Aputure InfiniBar up there using the built-in magnets. Then we threw the color temp into a yellowish green, hung a small painting on the wall, and bam, a moody hospital hallway. Right inside the room behind Justin, we have a TV hung up on the wall like you'd expect to see. This is our same small HD monitor as before, placed on a stand, not actually on the wall. And we placed it just enough in frame so that you feel it more than see it. To wrap it up here, we repurposed the IV stand and threw some tubes on it to make it feel hospital-y. Brought the nurse back in, set the blocking, and we got our shot. Another trick we pulled here was to give the mannequin a little motion so it felt alive. So we very subtly pressed it up and down to simulate the chest rising and falling as if it was breathing. It's a tiny thing, but for me, does a whole lot. But that's it. With a little bit of effort and some Amazon purchases, we have a pretty believable hospital set for a fraction of the cost. And we did not use a ton of room here either. We did set it up in our studio, but we purposefully kept the set condensed so the same idea could be pulled off in a small 10x10 bedroom. And I'm honestly pretty shocked at how convincing the shot came out in the end. I was worried the shot was going to look more like our first attempt, but pleasantly surprised at how believable it ended up feeling. And we used a rug as a wall. A rug. So keep in mind, a difficult location might not be a roadblock for your project. Go look at references, dial them back to the main aspects that give that set its essence, and see if you can create a believable DIY set of your own. And as always, if you dug this episode, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so that you're notified when we put up new content. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.
See you later. Ta-ta.